We up. We live. Yeah. All right. Stand. Well, you got wireless mic, so you can move wherever. All right.
Cool if you try to.
Huh?
Cool if you said it harder.
Yeah, you good. Take them out. Put this in here. Yeah, you gotta listen to it. Yeah. Nah, I gotta go get some.
I ain't talking during the game, bro.
No, they got
Huh? Push my thing. Why they could hit me, bro? All right, bro. Come get the mic. Yo. Fox. All right.
Well, no, I mean, it's probably more important. Now, I am going to try to do this every week. And the quality's good?
Yeah, I gotta go get the windbreaker. I had to, you good? You live? You on?
Want to welcome everybody out to Coconut Creek High School. This, of course, is the site of the contest between the St. Thomas Aquinas Raiders and the Monarch Knights. This is going to be an interesting contest. You're talking about two teams that come into this game 6-1, and they are both looking to make an impression on Broward County and in the grand scheme of high school football in this city. One of the things that you have to do is when you have power and you have prowess, you have to let other teams know for the future of the athlete that you could potentially get. With St. Thomas Aquinas, their resume is before you. 11 plus state championships for St. Thomas. Just an incredible program from top to bottom. And at the end of the day, it's a scenario where this is a place where stars come to shine. Monarch, the newbies, are trying to come in and make their case to be one of the upcoming and best programs in Northwest Broward. And that is a title that is up for grabs because of the fact that there have been so many other programs as of late who have not lived up to the billing of previous seasons. The referees are in the middle. It's a top flight referee crew on this evening. White cap is Nick Marinovich, and we're getting ready to play some football here in Broward County in Coconut Creek, and here come the St. Thomas Aquinas Raiders, nationally rated in the footballhotbed.com. Mecca Sports presents national rankings. St. Thomas Aquinas comes in the top 25. They, of course, have had some adjustments, but they are the number 7 team in the country, according to Football Hotbed. And now you have Monarch, who is trying to make their case and their claim for being one of the very best. Monarch plays their home games here at Coconut Creek High School. The school is just a few minutes drive, about 5 minutes drive north. And we have dubbed this the Receiver Bowl because these are two ultra talented teams in consideration of the wide receiver talent on both sides of the ball.
That means it's ready.
Thomas is going to kick off here to get this one started. Ranked 7 in the nation by Football Hotbed. Other publications have them at various places. Monarch is going to receive in the dark gray jerseys. And this one is underway from Coconut Creek, Florida. Monarch end over end kick. They'll receive the kick. Runner, he's still on his feet. This is a nifty run back. Gets all the way to the 33-yard line where they will take over. Starting quarterback for Monarch is number 18, Jack Spader. Spader is a reclassified 9th grader. He is a young man who has arm talent, 6'2", 175 pounds, and a guy that can really get this offense going. He, of course, is spelling the starting quarterback, A.J. Harrison. He's out for a few more weeks with an undisclosed injury to his upper body. 1st and 10 Monarch from their own 32-yard line. And it looks like some equipment malfunctions are being dealt with on the field. In high school football in the state of Florida, you have to have knee pads. And if you do not, you cannot play. And so as you see, the very first play of the game, number 1, Jabari Brady, top receiver in the 2026 class, has to come off the field. Even front for the Raiders on defense. The snap is to Spader. The ball is over the head of the receiver. A very late flag comes in. Ryan Mack, the University of Miami commit, on the defense for St. Thomas Aquinas. The pass was intended for Monarch receiver Samari Reed, the dynamic junior talent. That's going to be a 15-yard pass interference penalty. 1st and 10 for the Knights. First and 10 for Monarch. It's a check with me count for Spader. Head coach Calvin Davis, the longtime Monarch Knight coach. He coached the Judy brothers, Ridley, Burgess Becker, and so many other talents in Broward County. He is the offensive coordinator as well. The give is to Brady. A big pickup on 1st down. One of the reasons we dub this the Receiver Bowl is because there's just an immeasurable amount of talent on both sides of the wide receiver, both sides of the ball for both of these teams at receiver. They literally go 4 to 5 deep, and these guys are all going to be Division I level player wideouts. You don't see that very often. 2nd and let's call it 3 for Spader. He goes deep to a receiver that's wide open. Touchdown, Monarch. We talked about the explosive ability of this team because of the receivers that they have. Spader goes up north. Brady, the 5-star 2026 prospect, makes St. Thomas pay on the very first drive after a penalty. 6-0 on Monarch. Let's look at the replay. Looks like a breakdown in communication coverage. Somebody thought they had help over the top, and you cannot leave Jabari Brady by himself. That's going to be 6 every single time. Monarch would line up for an extra point. And I will say, in South Florida these last several weeks, extra points have not been gimmies. There have been a lot of extra point issues, and we almost spoke it into existence there. Monarch unable to convert extra point was blocked. But they get on the board and strike first here on Football Hotbed Game of the Week. I want to thank our broadcasting partners, Live 007, for allowing us to bring this game to you. If you are watching on any of our social media platforms, go ahead, do us a favor, share, like, and subscribe so that others can know Football Hotbed is live. Monarch kicks the ball off. It's fumbled. St. Thomas Aquinas will take over, trailing 6-0. First and 10, St. Thomas Aquinas. They're going to get things rolling on their own 30-yard line. The give is to the man, Mr. Lyle. And he's escorted out of bounds by a bevy of Monarch Knights. Lyle, the Ohio State commit, picks up a first down. He is one of the best in the entire state, if not the country, for St. Thomas Aquinas. First and 10 Raiders. The give is to the up man, the fullback. He plugs ahead for 5. That'll bring up second down. One thing you're going to notice about the differences between these two teams, Monarch, even being a school in the state's highest classification for Metro, plays a lot of guys on both sides of the ball. That's something to watch as the game wears on. St. Thomas Aquinas, 2nd and 5. Quarterback back to pass. He's looking for his receiver, who's well covered. There is a flag on the play. Chance Robinson, the University of Miami commit, defended by Bright Cannon. The two cover guys for today's game going head to head. Excuse me, that's not Bright Cannon, that's Kevin Powell. They call him KP, who was in on the coverage. Pass interference is called. It's going to bring up 1st and 10 for the Raiders in Monarch territory. Even front defensively for the Knights. Screen pass out to Lyle. He'll pick up about 3 to 4 on the play. Referees do mark him down. It's going to bring up second down for St. Thomas Aquinas. The Raiders got the season started at home on national television, ESPN, dropping a very close game to St. John Bosco. That same Bosco team went on to upset #1 in the nation, Mater Dei. 7-1 for St. Thomas Aquinas. Lyle gets the carry once again. He's brought down by Monarch. It's going to bring up a 3rd down. St. Thomas Aquinas, led by senior quarterback Andrew Endorf, waited his turn, and now it's his show. The pass intended for Chance Robinson, it is incomplete, and you're probably going to see the Raiders go for this 4th and 5 on the Monarch 40-yard line. Wide receiver Johnny Arneas to the top of your screen, Chance Robinson to the bottom of your screen. In the slot, Missouri commit James Madison, number 4. Endorf in the shot. Pass intended for number 80. Falls incomplete. Amari Stevens, the true freshman, unable to bring it down. Ball turned over on downs, 1st and 10 Monarch. In this game, when you're talking about as an experienced team as St. Thomas Aquinas, led by head coach Roger Harriet, Monarch has to take every opportunity to be fundamentally sound and get off the field and make this game more and more difficult for St. Thomas by applying pressure. They did that on the first drive, quickly scoring a touchdown. We're going to see if they can continue to do that as the game progresses. 1st and 10 Monarch, Jack Spader under center. Again, he's replacing A.J. Harrison, who's out for 6 to 8 weeks. He's the starting quarterback here at Monarch. Spader looking to go deep once again as Bright Cannon got behind the St. Thomas Aquinas defense, but the pass was just out of his reach, even though the young speedy receiver has some wheels. That's going to bring up 2nd and 10 for Monarch. This Monarch team has continued to be built over the course of much time. Coach Calvin Davis, Coach Montanez with this offensive line really have put something together this year, and that's why they're having such a special season. Only lost one time coming into this contest. Second and 10 for Monarch. Spader back. He looks. Pass complete to Reed, but he fumbles. Fortunately for him, he fumbled out of bounds. It actually will end up benefiting Monarch because he made a football move. The wide receiver, the referee rather, was right on top of it, and it's going to be a first down for Monarch. This is one of the best officialing crews in South Florida. This is a big game officialing crew in South Florida with the names that I'll share with you in just a moment. 1st and 10 Monarch. After the Samari Reed completion and fumble out of bounds, the give is up the middle to the running back. Wonderful football weather here in Coconut Creek, Florida, a town that sits just northwest of Fort Lauderdale, Florida. I want to welcome all of our viewers in all over football hotbed world who are joining us on today. 6-0 your score. Monarch leads St. Thomas Aquinas. First quarter action, 8:28 to play. Samari Reed, number 0, the junior, on the bottom of your screen at the top. Brady, the 5-star. Spader with the snap, drops back. He's looking for Reed. Just too far, great coverage. Ryan Mack, University of Miami commit. His father was also a Hurricane. Rod Mack, one of the most gifted youth football coaches in all of South Florida. It's going to bring up a very important 3rd down at midfield for Monarch. They have been invested in the passing game. Coach Davis, very animated. 5 wide receivers set. We called it the Receiver Bowl for a reason. There's going to be a lot of passing in this game. Snap by Spader. He's got no time to throw for a change and brought down by number 15 for St. Thomas Aquinas. The defensive tackle, that's going to be Kendrick Burley. He's a senior. It's going to be punting time for Monarch. Fairly decent crowd for a Friday night, big Broward game here in Coconut Creek at Coconut Creek High School. Once again, Monarch plays their home games at Coconut Creek. Shout out to Coconut Creek, who's having an excellent season. It is a fake punt, and that is going to be very, very close to determine whether or not Reed got the first down. They might have to measure for this. Jabari Brady. Let's take another look. A very gutsy call here by head coach Calvin Davis. You're going to see this fake. Brady's the normal punter, so that didn't raise any issues. He's the normal punter here for Monarch. Let's see if we can get this while they bring this out. Going to work to see if we can get that replay, but that was an excellent attempt. The execution was perfect. Brady may have just been a little bit short of the sticks, and it looks as if they're going to measure, but just a gutsy call. Super gutsy call early in this game. Take a look at it here. Brady's standard issue back. He goes, being so athletic, and credit St. Thomas Aquinas, they did not bite on the fake. They were right there, but we're going to find out in just a minute if the tackle made by Bowen Drews, the senior, was enough. And it will be a first down Monarch. Just a tremendous call by Calvin Davis. And Monarch has come into this game, and they have an attitude of, we're going to make a statement tonight. Monarch, 5 wide set. Spader checks with coach. Spader has a little bit of mobility. Throws the screen. He is a threat to run. The screen is to Clayton Cannon. There's a flag on the play. Body language lends itself to the thought that Monarch may be guilty of potentially a hold. A block in the back on Monarch. Penalty. It's going to remain first down. going to be a delay of game penalty on Monarch. It's going to back them up even further. Looks like we've got our first quarter hydration break, water break, as close as possible to the 6-minute mark remaining in every quarter. The referees are authorized to be able to take a timeout for hydration. Monarch doing pretty well in this game, up 6-0, but they are going in absolute reverse on this drive. After converting the punt, the fake punt, Monarch has gotten called for a delay of game and for a block in the back. And they are first down, 25 plus yards. Too high zone defense for the Raiders. And they bring down Spader in the backfield. That's going to be number 33 for St. Thomas Aquinas. Justin Bodiford. He's one of the D1 commits on this St. Thomas Aquinas Raider team, and there are so many. Bodiford gave his verbal commit to the University of Missouri in July. He is headed to the SEC. Timeout Monarch in a drive where they have to go almost the length of the football field for a first down. Coach Davis wants to talk about things. Just an interesting dynamic here for Monarch. They've basically gotten back to the point that they were when they originally operated the fake punt. Again, going in absolute reverse. Second down and forever. Pass is incomplete. Flag on the play. Legal participation is the call. That backs Monarch even further up. It's a third down here. Monarch really struggling with their discipline at this juncture in the game, doing a lot of things right coming into this game. But if you're going to knock off a national championship caliber team in St. Thomas Aquinas, one thing you cannot do is make repeated mistakes. They're going to run the ball here. as you would expect. And they're going to punt this ball off. Like I said, they came back to their original punt position before they executed the fake. And honestly, I think that if you're not going to turn that fake punt into points, you might want to keep it in your bag, because you could have used that later on in this game when things got thick. It's unfortunate that they were not able to convert. Back deep for St. Thomas Aquinas, Ryan Mack. The punt is away. It is a good one. Fair catch called, and it's down by Mack. St. Thomas Aquinas, second offensive drive. A little bit of tussling. This is a bit of a tense game. These young men have played together basically their whole lives in the youth leagues of Broward County and even some in Miami-Dade. So there's a lot of familiarity between these two teams and a lot of people looking to let others know how good they think they really are. If this penalty is on Monarch, that would be the 5th straight penalty. Looks like it's going to be offsetting unsportsmanlike penalties. That'll bring up 1st and 10 for St. Thomas Aquinas. On 1st down is to allow, and it was immediately stopped. Gonna bring up 2nd and 15 for St. Thomas. Madison is the motion man. The give is to Madison. He's got tacklers, but does not matter. Excellent play by Monarch. Tackle made by number 7, Santana Harrison, the junior. Big 3rd down play here for St. Thomas Aquinas. Endorf to pass. He looks. Wide open, the freshman Stevens makes a move after the play, and he's brought down after a big pickup. Amari Stevens. First and 10 at St. Thomas Aquinas.
You just gonna let that play go?
The give is to Lyle.
It's the replay.
St. Thomas going with some pace here. Second and short. Lyle again. And he's loose. He's still on his feet. Touchdown, Jordan Lyle. And listen, this young man is one of the most special. And part of the reason is because nobody wants to tackle a freight train once it gets going. Take a look at the replay here. The give is simple. He's going to come from the top of your screen to the bottom. Watch the read here and watch him run through the tackle. You got to show this again.
We'll show it again after this.
We'll show it again after this extra point attempt.
I got to change that set.
Extra point is up and good. And St. Thomas Aquinas gets on the board. Francisco Peligi. Watch Lyle run over the defender, and that's exactly why he is headed to the Big Ten, a running back league, because he is a big load to bring down. St. Thomas Aquinas has always been known for talent at the running back position, and Jordan Lyle has to be one of the best that they've had. So 7-6 Aquinas over Monarch. We said earlier at the outset, special teams are going to get a lot of attention in this game. St. Thomas Aquinas is usually extraordinarily buttoned up in the specials department. There are 3 facets to the game. Monarch had an opportunity, jumped out early, missed an extra point, had another drive where they faked the punt, got great field position, looked to go in, and got penalized 4 straight times. In order for Monarch to put out this upset in this wide receiver bowl, they are going to have to play fundamentally sound football. And so far, they've got some adjustments to make. Flag on the play. The flag was picked up. Kick, and the kick is taken and fumbled, but the ball was ruled down. So Monarch goes back on offense, trailing by a point. First and 10 Monarch from their 20. Flag on the play. It's going to be another delay of game. Jack Spader, freshman quarterback, going through some growing pains here. Bring up a 1st and 15 for Monarch. The give is up the middle. Right away you can see Coach Davis trying to establish a more balanced attack. Even though you've got this great receiving core, you have got to make sure you make St. Thomas respect not only the run but the pass. And this Monarch offensive line is noteworthy. They are noteworthy. Coach Montanez has put his stamp on this line, and they go 6-2 plus all across the line. That is unheard of in high school football, especially in South Florida. We're not typically known for our linemen. Usually, that's the kind of line that you see at St. Thomas Aquinas. Pass was awesomely thrown by Spader and dropped. It dropped right in between 3 St. Thomas Aquinas defenders. It's going to bring up 3rd and long for Monarch. The jerseys are very difficult to see from Monarch, so you got to forgive us if we don't call every name. Sometimes we got to wait for the young men to spin around so we can know who made the play. Sideline warning given to Monarch just before this 3rd down try. Spader looks, he's moving around, doesn't see anything. It's going to bring up 4th down, a few yards gained on the scramble. So Monarch unable to get something going on drive number 3. Scored on their first drive. Their second offensive drive was penalty-laden, discipline penalties. This drive, St. Thomas is really getting home on that defensive line, and the defensive backfield have made some adjustments to be able to keep pace with this very talented receiving core for the Knights. Brady with an excellent punt. It is fielded. Short run back there, but yards gained nevertheless. You are watching the Football Hotbed Game of the Week. I am Brandon O'Doy, the publisher, VP of Scouting of Football Hotbed, and it is our pleasure to bring you this wonderful game. 22 seconds left in the first quarter here in Coconut Creek at Coconut Creek High School. Monarch hosting St. Thomas Aquinas, number 7 in the country on the footballhotbed.com Mecca Sport rankings. The give is to the fullback, and that might be the last play of the first quarter. And it will be. Through one quarter of play, St. Thomas Aquinas 7, Monarch 6. I want to thank everyone for joining us here on footballhotbed.com. As the 2023 season comes to a close and we approach playoff time, we're going to bring you more and more high school football from the great state of Florida. I want you to make sure you tune in, like and subscribe on all our social media platforms, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and even Instagram for more information about our high school sports broadcast. We're excited to announce and promote some of our upcoming events. We got the Football Hotbed Middle School All-American game taking place in December right here in Coral Springs, Florida. If you are a young person, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, the class of 2030, 2029, and 2028, log on to footballhotbed.com and click on Hotbed Showcases to nominate your athlete for the 10th annual Middle School All-American Game. It is one of the premier All-American games for youth football athletes in the entire country. Aquinas content to run the ball. That's number 25, Justin Montgomery, the senior. He's 230 pounds. So when you talk about Montgomery at 230 and Lyle at 200, 6 foot, these two guys are a load, and what they're hoping to do is wear down Monarch. Again, a lot of guys playing two ways for the Knights. A very, very curious third down play. You may have heard the St. Thomas Aquinas coaches in the coaches box voicing their displeasure, because when you're popping runs the way that they have been doing, you got a 3rd and short. You just got to knuckle down and run the ball forward. You'll probably see that here. 4th down, can Monarch get off the field? The give is to Lyle, but it does not look like St. Thomas Aquinas was ready. False start on the offense. That will back them up 5 yards. We'll see if Coach Roger Harriet elects to kick it here or to go for it. Looks like the punt team is coming on, and it's that kind of discipline and these penalties that have come at these crucial times that is keeping this game very close.
Out here, man.
As we are just beginning the second quarter of play.
Oh my God. What are we doing?
Timeout, St. Thomas Aquinas. Very unusual disorganization for STA. They're going to talk about it. That's why you get the timeouts. You get a chance to regroup and reposition. Want to let everybody know about our upcoming spring break college tour. This is the preeminent tour of the Southeast for the very best. March 22nd through the 26th. Take control of your recruiting. Get on the road with Football Hotbed heading to Alabama, Georgia Tech, Florida State, UCF, the University of Georgia, the defending national champions, and the Florida Gators, as well as Florida A&M and so many other schools along the way. Last year we visited 12 colleges in Division I. It's a trip you absolutely do not want to miss. Space is limited, and so we encourage you, if you think your athlete, your high school athlete in the class of 2027, 2026, and 2025 has what it takes to play at the high elite Division I level, or wants to get the experience as a younger kid of knowing what it takes, please log on to footballhotbed.com and click on Hotbed Showcases and nominate your player today. 4th down for the Raiders. They're lined up to punt, and another false start. Some very uncharacteristic play for St. Thomas early in this game. Jeremiah Douglas a little bit antsy to get downfield. The punt is up, will not be fielded. Very good punt. Down by the 10-yard line for Monarch. Ian Faulkner, the senior punter, with an excellent ball placement punt. It's going to bring up 1st and 10 for Monarch. 11:38 left in this first half of play, this second quarter. Monarch trailing St. Thomas Aquinas 7-6. Jack Spader, the freshman, is the quarterback. Man in motion to give up the middle. That big offensive line for Monarch. Gain of about 4 on the play. That's going to bring up second down. I want to thank everyone joining us on footballhotbed.com. No matter where you may be joining us from, sizable crowd on very short notice. Appreciate all of you. We've decided to do these broadcasts, and I want to appreciate my friend and colleague, Mr. Stephon Williams, for encouraging me to keep my promise to him to broadcast great high school football throughout South Florida, and for him being an excellent partner in helping us do that, him along with his son. A second down play, it looks like the give is to Cannon. Clayton Canyon, they call him Bright. That's enough for a first down. This is just an incredibly gifted wide receiver core for Monarch. You typically do not see this. And this is a school that could be labeled wide receiver high. Jerry Jeudy spent time here. He went to Deerfield, but he started at Monarch. Calvin Ridley, probably the most infamous alum of this institution. This is a coach that knows how to coach wide receiver talent. This is a program that knows how to develop it. And you're seeing as much as you ever have seen on the field at one time. Spader going deep, looking for Brady. The pass is just a little bit too far. Ryan Mack, he's the guy that has been providing the excellent coverage all night. There's a reason he's going to the University of Miami. And Coach Mario Cristobal, Lance Guidry, and my good friend Jamel Adai must be thrilled about the prospects. Mack is a guy who can play corner and safety. Track kid, very fast. So even with the size advantage, Brady has his hands full tonight with that matchup. Second down for Monarch. Spader in the shot. Outside run. Picks up several. That's Emmanuel Lavad. It's going to bring up an all-important third down here for Monarch. St. Thomas Aquinas coming into this game. Only loss, the only blemish is to St. John Bosco, a team that knocked off the #1 team in America, Mater Dei in Southern California, just a week ago. Spader with the sprint out. It was red, zone coverage, and a major hit. Major hit was applied by number 6 for St. Thomas Aquinas, Romans Frederic. And Frederic is also committed to the University of Miami. What an incredible amount of talent on the St. Thomas Aquinas team to have 2 backfield mates, both committed to the University of Miami. And you've got Division I recruits all over this defense. Monarch will punt, back deep. Alan Bryant's the senior. And Jeremiah Douglas. Brady, the athlete, has done a very good job of punting. That's another example. It's going to be a fair catch. Just a seesaw ball game here. 8:55 left in the second quarter. Be 1st and 10 for St. Thomas Aquinas. fullback. That's Justin Montgomery, 230 pounds, 5'10", coming right at you. It's going to bring second down and 6. Second down and 4, rather. St. Thomas fakes the run and hits the bubble with Madison. He's going to pick up the first down. Freshman Julius Jones is in the ball game for St. Thomas. You see him there at the bottom of your screen. Back to the run game for STA. That's Lyle. He'll pick up 3. Let's call it 7 yards. 6 yards on the play. St. Thomas is just going to try to wear Monarch down. Haven't been super successful in the air attack, even though they're receivers for days on this team. They're getting 4 and 5 a pop. Just as I say that, they go to the air, and this is why they've been running, having a hard time connecting with their very talented receivers. Third, and we'll call it 5. 4-ish, 5 for Monarch. Chance Robinson, he's up top, joined by Madison. Jones, the freshman, down bottom. Campbell and Lyle in the backfield with Endolph. Looking to the sideline for the play. RPO, first down, James Madison.
Come on, baby.
This St. Thomas Aquinas team can get in a rhythm, and boy, if that happens. The give is to Lyle. Wes Carroll, offensive coordinator for Aquinas, mixing and matching now. 6:54 to play in this second quarter. Aquinas with the 7-6 lead.
We haven't been very good. We're running better.
Second down and 5 for the Raiders. 2-back set. They featured that almost exclusively on this drive. And there goes Lyle, and no one wants to tackle the big man. Shoestring tackle. Otherwise, he would have gotten into the paint as we have our second quarter hydration break. So, St. Thomas Aquinas finding their identity through the run game. 7-6 and going in and looking for more. Let's go. Replay. If you're looking for an opportunity to show that you have what it takes in the class of 2024, why don't you nominate yourself to play in our football hotbed 4th annual Senior Bowl? And this is, of course, an opportunity for you to be recruited by coaches live and in person. We're going to have Division II and NAIA junior college coaches who are present, ready to offer and recruit your student athlete. If you think you've been overlooked, this is your opportunity from wherever you are in the country. Log on to footballhotbed.com and click on Hotbed Showcases at the top to nominate your class of 2024 senior to participate in our 4th annual Senior Bowl.
I love having color commentary.
First and 10, St. Thomas Aquinas. Montgomery, Endolph, and Lyle from top to bottom.
All right, now he's back up. Now he's back.
The give is to James. That's good for 3 to 4. It's 3 yards in a cloud of dust for Aquinas at this point. Montgomery, the bigger of the two backs, but not by much. 230-pounder, joined in the backfield by his Ohio State commit teammate, Jordan Lyle. These are two big dudes. Carroll signaling in the play for Aquinas. Adjustments being made. He's targeting the freshman. Pass incomplete over his head. That's a curious play given the fact that Jabari Brady is 6'2" wide receiver, covering a freshman. At about 5'10". The jumbo package is in, 3rd down here. Aquinas can get a first down without scoring. It's a Wildcat. Lyle to the right-hand side, making his way through. It doesn't look like he's going to get the first down, but he's close. It's going to bring up 4th down in inches for Aquinas. 4th down, and let's call it 1. So in a situation like this, one guy has to show how far they have to go, and one guy has to show the play. Wildcat again to Lyle. And he's going to get in for the touchdown. St. Thomas Aquinas ground game coming alive, choosing to use what they're doing the best in this game in order to take control. And they're on to attempt the extra point. Francisco Peligi, the senior, is handling the kicking duties for St. Thomas Aquinas. Stacy Gage is the holder. Kick is up, and it's good. 14-6, St. Thomas Aquinas extends their lead. You're watching the footballhotbed.com game of the week. St. Thomas Aquinas visiting Monarch, 2 one-loss teams battling for control and supremacy of Broward County. Brandon O'Doy, publisher and VP of Scouting of Football Hotbed, joining you in a just truly wonderful day in Coconut Creek, Florida for football. Most excited that you could join us here on footballhotbed.com, whether you're watching on YouTube or even on Facebook. This Monarch Night team has had a tremendous season up to this point. They have their hands full tonight with the defending 3M state champion St. Thomas Aquinas Raiders. Roger Harriet going for 5 consecutive state championship wins. Number 9. Didn't get a roster, so.
It says Stacy Gage.
Want to make a correction. Stacy Gage is not dressed tonight for the Raiders. Kickoff for Aquinas, end over end, will be returned. Fumble. Monarch looks to have gotten back on top of it. And after a very, very fast start. after a fast start, Monarch is really in a difficult place
I don't know.
offensively.
Our guy's got his arm.
He had another correction.
Flag on the play. Referees are talking. It looked like there was some tussling going on. I want to take this opportunity to let you know about our upcoming events on footballhotbed.com. We are so excited to bring you our basketball media day, Hotbed Hoops. We are transitioning to basketball coverage. We've been covering for the last several seasons for the postseason, and now we're ready to launch and kick off our first full season of basketball coverage in South Florida with our media day. If you're watching this and you have a basketball team in South Florida at the high school level, you want to be a part of media day, send us an email at info@footballhotbed.com. Spader's pass is intercepted on first down by Allen Bryants, the senior. He basically just ran back as if the pass was being thrown to him. Watch the replay here. Spader drops back, and it just doesn't look like he and his receiver were on the same page, and St. Thomas Aquinas takes over at their own 29-yard line. Be first down Aquinas. 4:15 left in the second quarter of play. The give is to Montgomery. Flag on the play. We've got about 20 of those so far. It'll be a face mask, personal foul. Well, no, correction. It's an inadvertent face mask, the 5-yard penalty. To Montgomery. Big explosive play, but a flag is down.
You recorded, you gonna throw it the sign?
So we're both live, which is
Just him.
penalty is on St. Thomas. That'll back them up. Still first down. St. Thomas has been content to run the ball as of late. And this is why. Lyle's long first down run. It's going to bring up second and short. Take a look. They've been in this two-back formation all night, and all jerseys in gray are moving backwards. And Lyle's got the speed and size combo to make you pay when you don't fill those gaps. Second and 3 for St. Thomas. Let's call it 2. The pitch is to James Montgomery. He's tough.
Good run by my nephew.
He picks up the first down. It's an absolute difficult day at the office when you've got to defend two 200-plus backs who have speed and power. St. Thomas very content to play power football tonight. First down Raiders. Ball out in the flats. Nice pickup there.
You're doing backwards.
That's Andreas Madison, the junior. Madison is skillful wide receiver. Spent some time in the Dillard program. It's going to bring up first down for St. Thomas Aquinas. Endorf with all day to pass. Finds James Madison. And so many things are opening up. Take a look at this play. The run opens up the pass. Madison creeps out on what looks like a little bit of a wheel route. This bunch formation works so well, they'll try it again. Chance Robinson, bottom of the screen, the give is to Lyle. He runs straight ahead. Wes Carroll's got his entire offense opened up now. He's dialing up. Monarch has got to put their foot on the brakes here with 1:52 minutes left. They do not want to go into the half trailing by more than a touchdown. The give is to Lyle, and he's going to score. That is incredible blocking, incredible alignment. St. Thomas doing what they want to do in this second quarter. That's 20 unanswered points by the Raiders. Check this replay out. Monarch being run on all game long, and every man had a hat on a hat, and that usually means something's going to break open. Lyle make them pay. That's Michael Kern on the hold. Haligi with the extra point attempt. 21-6. St. Thomas Aquinas. And the Raiders are now rolling as they've reeled off 21 straight points. Monarch got on the board first. You are watching the footballhotbed.com game of the week. We are broadcasting live from Coconut Creek, Florida. One minute and 35 seconds remaining in the second quarter of this contest. Brandon O'Doy, VP of Scouting and publisher of footballhotbed.com. Pleased to be with you. And of course, as we are in week 9 of the high school football season, we are gearing up for an incredible playoff run in the great state of Florida. Want you to be encouraged to log on to footballhotbed.com and all of our relevant social media for full coverage of high school football 365. St. Thomas Aquinas to kick off after going up by 2 scores. Jabari Brady with the run back here. Monarch needing to get something done. See if they can score. They got 1 minute and 29 seconds as they drive toward the end zone. First and 10 Monarch. Spader with the give. Looks to be the cannon. It is brought down by a host of Raiders. Flag after a play, and it is getting chippy. Earl Cup, the 4-star defensive back, on the tackle. So I want to zoom in on these towels. Zoom in on this young man here with the towel. Something that has become a problem in South Florida is kids are stealing the towels from other kids as a show of disrespect. And so I told you you had a very, very good referee staff, and they are on top of it. Zach Marevich and his entire referee crew are now banning in this game towels because kids are taking the opportunity to take towels during the game, and it's causing on-field conflicts. You saw it last week at Trash Pout. It's been going on all season long. It's become part of the football culture in South Florida, and these referees are putting a stop to it because when you get rid of the towels, you get rid of the target of conflict. One of the targets. So that'll bring up first down after the unsportsmanlike penalty. Spader to throw. It looked like a lot of touching going on in the defensive backfield for St. Thomas Aquinas. The penalty will be on Mr. Tavares Daniels. Just a little bit too friendly with his wide receiver. And Monarch now is the beneficiary of St. Thomas making a drive full of mistakes. This game has been marred with penalties. Plenty of things to go over in Coach Harriet's 9 a.m. meeting on tomorrow morning. First and 10 Monarch from their own 40-yard line. From the Raider 40-yard line, I should say. 1:04 left before the half. 1 minute, 4 seconds. Wow. Spader up the middle, and it was wide open. I told you he has the ability to run. The clock is rolling, 52 seconds left. Quick snap, quick throw.
Come on, let's go, baby, let's go.
The pass complete to Cannon. The clock will stop to move the chains, first down. 44 seconds left for Monarch as they try to move into the end zone to bring this back into a one-score game. Clock is running, 36 seconds remain. Spader up the middle. They're going to have to call a timeout. 24 seconds remaining. You got to like this play call for Monarch. Taking what the defense gives them. Spader's got the athletic ability as a 6'2 freshman to make them pay if he's not accounted for. So now all of a sudden St. Thomas has to think about what's the quarterback going to do. Now that opens up some passing lanes for this very talented wide receiver core. 21-6, St. Thomas Aquinas, 23 seconds remaining in this second quarter. Play football hotbed game of the week. A wonderful night in Coconut Creek, Florida, northwest of Fort Lauderdale in the great state of Florida. A great 76 degrees outside here for our broadcast. Want to let you know, upcoming this off-season, February the 3rd, the 8th annual Football Hotbed Classic 7-on-7. You do not want to miss. If you've got an all-star 7-on-7 team, reserve and save the date for February the 3rd, 2024. It is a hotbed world. .26 seconds remaining on this second down play. Spader back. He throws the out route, and it is complete to Cannon. That's going to bring up a 1st and goal with 22 seconds left. Monarchs putting together a very, very talented drive. Looks like they are going jumbo. .22 seconds left. First and goal for Monarch. A throw back to a lineman who's eligible, and he's rumbling, tumbling. Touchdown, Monarch. Wow. Coach Davis in his bag tonight. He is really dialing. Melvin Puckett with the touchdown reception. Let's watch the big man here. So they line up in an unbalanced. The big man is an eligible receiver. He does an Olay. And boy, he's been a running back somewhere in his life. Melvin Puckett, the senior 6'4" offensive lineman, gets in for a score. And Coach Calvin Davis is in his bag of tricks. 15 seconds remaining, 21-12 Monarch. They're going to go for 2 here to bring it to within 1 score. It's a big-time 2-point conversion. Spader in the shot. Brady. The pass goes to him. What a catch. My God, he won't get in, though. The ball thrown behind him, and just an incredible catch, but it is not good. The extra point fails. 21-12 Monarch. The Knights get on the board just before halftime. 9-point game here. 15 seconds remaining before half. Monarch climbed back within 9 points. Melvin Puckett, the offensive lineman, some coaches from St. Thomas expressing their feelings that the pass was illegal. The pass does stand. It is a touchdown. So Monarch will kick off. Monarch to kick off, trailing by 9. The kick is out of bounds. St. Thomas will probably kneel this. Looks like they're going to re-kick this. When the ball goes out of bounds, the team on offense has the ability to make a decision whether or not they want it re-kicked or they want to take the ball at the 35 in high school. St. Thomas electing to have the ball re-kicked after a penalty. This is a dangerous place for Monarch with only 15 seconds left. You don't want to get too close. St. Thomas has an incredible kicker in Michael Kern. He's committed to Texas. Looks like the penalty may be on St. Thomas. No, it is on Monarch. They are being backed up. But again, a decent run back here. Oh, wow. We're all over the place. So, yes, it is on St. Thomas, as we originally said. And this ball will probably be kicked into the end zone for a touchback. St. Thomas will likely take a knee and go to the locker room up 9 points. I want to thank any and everybody for joining us here on footballhotbed.com. The first of what we hope to be many broadcasts during the last half of this season. Bring you a few scores from around South Florida. Miami, New Orleans 6-0 against Columbus. West Boca 48-0 at halftime against Boyd Anderson. .15 seconds remain. You're going to see the Raiders just kneel this one out. And we've got halftime. So, at the half, St. Thomas Aquinas leads Monarch 21-12. Monarch started the scoring, went up 6-0. The extra point was blocked. St. Thomas Aquinas reeled off 21 straight, and then Monarch just before the half drove all the way down the field, assisted by several St. Thomas Aquinas miscues and flags. And your score is 21-12 at the half. You're watching footballhotbed.com. Can you put something up that just says halftime?
Scoreboard. down there, and we ain't got to change nothing.
Oh, that's great. Let's go. I still like my stick.
Huh?
Still like my stick.
Oh, okay. 'Cause
Especially for broadcasting.
I got an additional one like this that you can hold up.
Yeah, nah. Okay, I'm old school. But I mean, the flexibility of it is intriguing for sure. No, you know what? Play this. Let them see this. Five for bandwidth, all of it. iPhone today? 15. Nah, but man, I need to use it. Oh. It don't pick up? It ain't mine, though, but when they come back, man, it's something else. It good. I see new uniform.
See what I was saying?
Great job, Jay.
Hey, yeah, man. Good job, man. She probably knows when he went to my profile. Yeah, I saw it. And guess what? It's still 250. I mean, man, you being funny. Let's see.
I got one by hook on my extension.
Run us out of here, coach, so we can go home early.
So give it to Lyle 10 more times to be over.
I don't know why. I don't know why y'all don't do it. The offensive line looks way better.
Yeah, they're getting there. We're still missing.
Please don't be offended by this. This is the weakest offensive line I've ever seen at St. Thomas in my 13 years of doing this, and they're still good.
Yeah.
They're still better than 90%.
2020 was kind of bad.
Well, I mean, do you even have a guy that's committed to you? When's the last time that happened? Have to admit, but I mean, they look better than they looked against Boston.
Yeah.
I always tell people, if you're gonna be St. Thomas, we still should have beat them. We still should. You know that I don't believe Matter was the best. I think Chaminade is, but I definitely understand where you're coming from. I still think there was chances to beat them.
Yeah. I missed that one throw.
But you guys are, like you said, you guys are real young, and that's a tough first game to play without a kickoff classic, you know? But the coaching is so good, it's hard to beat St. Thomas late. You got to beat them in the first couple of games. You cannot beat St. Thomas after game 3, 4, 5. It's just too good. It's been like that for years. Sorry, man. Mike? Let's go. 26 seconds left. Oh, that thing goes so quick. I would have wore a polo shirt if I knew he was doing that. All right, we are back. St. Thomas Aquinas is going to receive the ball in the second half. Y'all to check us out on YouTube or Facebook, Football Hotbed, Facebook, YouTube, live streaming with replay. Check us out. I'm taking you in the studio. We are live on Football Hotbed. Score is 21-12. STA. Josiah, what's up, man? Did y'all win tonight? Getting started. Monarch playing pretty decent. St. Thomas, though, doing what we expected them to do. If you want to watch, if you want to watch with replay, log on to footballhotbed.com YouTube page or log on to our Facebook page. But we will stay live on IG as long as we can. Monarch is kicking off the St. Thomas. Second half action, just getting underway. Monarchs got to find a way to get some stops on defense. They came out in this game, had a really good defensive plan, stopping the run. Looks like they're playing a few more guys, allowing some of those two-way players to rest. That's a very, very smart move because you've got to let those guys rest. First and 10, St. Thomas. The pitch is to Lyle. He had to make sure he had it. He's got a lot of room. He is just super steady, fast, large human being with a football. Take a look. Watch the replay here. Endorf is content to just pitch it out to him, checks to see if he still has the ball, and then it's off to the races. And Monarch makes those quick adjustments. They sub some guys back in. Not going to be able to go with your second stringers here. Jordan Lau is too good, and he's taking over. He is already on the board. Touchdown, St. Thomas. This kid is really incredible. Watch this. This young man in two plays, he took his team downfield. Speed, power, strength, vision. He's got it all. St. Thomas getting ready to roll. All right, join us on social media at Facebook and YouTube, all of our Instagram followers. We're going to log off of Instagram right now. You can pick us up on YouTube or on Facebook. STA 28-12. want to remind you at footballhotbed.com for our upcoming events. For all of our events, you can log on to footballhotbed.com. Our 10th annual middle school All-American game, the oldest running institution we have at Football Hotbed, 10th annual middle school All-American game, is upcoming in Coral Springs, Florida. Nominate your 6th, 7th, and 8th grader today by logging on to footballhotbed.com. Click on Hotbed Showcases at the very top, and also don't forget about our Senior Bowl. Our Senior Bowl for the class of 2024. I want you to take advantage of that as well if you are still looking to be recruited. There are a lot of young people that need to be recruited on this field here tonight. Jordan Lyle, the Ohio State commit, is one of the top players in the country, and he's over 100 yards tonight as St. Thomas kicks off. Very good run back from Monarch. They trail 28-12 here in the third quarter. Got to get something going in the air here in this third quarter. Jack Spader, freshman quarterback, filling in for the injured A.J. Hairston. He is the UMass commit. Spader done a very good job. He's 2 touchdowns to his credit. He's also got 1 interception, several yards on the ground. We'll get started with a run here. It's a nice first down run by number 21, Malik Kelsey. He shows his ability. Kelsey, the 2024 senior, picks up a first down for Monarch. Nice driving. DeAndre Charles checks in for Monarch in the pistol. Spader checks with Coach Davis. Very little doing there on the run up the middle. Stopped by number 5. They call him Nick. Nicholas Rodriguez on the tackle, the Missouri commit. 3 kids on this St. Thomas Aquinas team committed to the University of Miami. University of Missouri. Coach Blake Baker has got to be ecstatic, along with Coach Drink. They're having a wonderful year. And that's going to be either a late hit or helmet to helmet. There have been no shortage of flags on this evening. It's going to be a 15-yard penalty against St. Thomas. They're up 28-12. We dubbed this game the wide receiver bowl, and Monarch has done their part. St. Thomas Aquinas been very content to run the ball. That pass by Spader, incomplete. Flag on the play. Monarch seems to think it is on St. Thomas. Monarch was incorrect. They're now backing up. Penalty goes against Monarch, and another penalty. A sideline warning on St. Thomas Aquinas. We are approaching 30 flags in this game. First and 15 for Monarch. Spader takes off, gets tripped up before he can hit open field. Tackles made by St. Thomas Aquinas, Kendrick Burley, the senior, 6'4" defensive lineman. Gonna bring up second down and 13. Spader scrambles, he keeps it. He runs out of bounds. Bring up third down. Pick up about 3 yards. Third and 9. Delay a game penalty. Third and long for Monarch. St. Thomas with the sack, number 31 for the Raiders. It's Elijah Demnachi, 6'3" defensive lineman. This Raiders lineman didn't get a ton of pressure in that first half, the first couple of drives, and now they are starting to tee off against this Monarch offensive line who has their hands on their hips. Typically an indication that they may be a little bit worn. Fourth down. Monarch's gonna go for it and sack at the 50. But then there's a flag on the play. to be St. Thomas Aquinas, as the penalty took place after the 4th down conversion failed. Penalty was on St. Thomas. Well, not on St. Thomas, the penalty was on Monarch, backing them up. A lot of penalties, a lot of undisciplined play by Monarch. Started this game incredible. Started going downhill, 21 straight points by Aquinas. Got back into the game, brought the lead down to 9 just before the half. Jack Spader led his team down the field, aided by 2 St. Thomas Aquinas penalties. And now, to start this second half, Monarch having a hard time getting things going. Meanwhile, St. Thomas Aquinas just teeing off in the run game, and that pass intended for Chance Robinson was on the money but incomplete. Second down and 10 for Aquinas. On the Monarch 30-yard line, the give is to James Montgomery. He's had a wonderful game. Pick up of about 7 yards on the carry. The give is back to Montgomery, and he's fighting. On 3rd down, looks like he only picks up a yard. It's going to bring up 4th down. 28-12, your score, 7:33 remaining in this footballhotbed.com game of the week. We are in Coconut Creek, Florida. St. Thomas Aquinas, the visiting team, against the home Monarch Knights. Monarch of Coconut Creek High School, playing their games at Coconut Creek High. Creek is on the road against MacArthur tonight. Andrew Endorf pass incomplete, intended for number 20. Tyreek Williams. Be a 1st and 10 for Monarch.
8.
Five wide set for the Knights. They've been doing that all day long, and that play has been there all day long. Spader taking advantage to the tune of about 4 yards to bring up 2nd down. Second and 5 for Monarch here. Trailing 28-12, 6:26 left to go in the 3rd. The give is up the middle. It's Emmanuel Lavad. Senior running back on the carry. It's going to be near a first down. And that's going to be a first down, but it's also going to be a water break. I'd like to remind you of all of the footballhotbed.com showcases that we have upcoming. I want to let you know about the National High School Showcase. The National High School Showcase is perhaps our biggest event for freshmen, sophomores, and juniors. It is an all-star tackle game. You can nominate yourself at footballhotbed.com. Click on Hotbed Showcases. This is an opportunity for you to be able to display your talents. Were you injured this season? Do you need an opportunity to show what you can do? Are you not getting enough time? Send in a nomination. Click on the link on footballhotbed.com. And you can nominate yourself to be a part of this outstanding event, the 8th annual in Atlanta, Georgia, Martin Luther King weekend. Won't you join us there? .607 remaining in the third quarter. St. Thomas Aquinas up 28-12 on Monarch. Both these teams with one loss, nationally rated. St. Thomas Aquinas number 7 in the country according to the footballhotbed.com Mecca Sports rankings. Screen out to Bright Cannon, and he is shot out of a cannon. He picks up 9 on the play. There is a flag. No surprise if you've been tuning into our broadcast all night long. This has been a penalty-ridden affair. Against Monarch. Run the ball on first down, nothing doing. Monarch has some success getting deep field pass game going on St. Thomas. Spader's got a nice cannon for an arm. Very accurate on a couple of those plays. Looking for some accuracy since the first half. And they're going to need to pass to get their way back into this football game. St. Thomas with a 16-point, 3-score lead. Timeout Monarch, they want to talk about it. While they take a timeout, we're going to remind you about some of the things that we have coming up on footballhotbed.com. We are covering basketball. Join us on hotbedhoops.com. Everything with South Florida Media Day coverage begins. We are so excited to kick off on November the 11th. If you are a basketball team in South Florida, you definitely want to get in touch with us to be a part of Media Day. hotbedhoops.com for more information, or log on to our Instagram page at hotbedhoops. Send us a direct message or send us a text at 305-975-5884. And don't forget about our upcoming Spring Break College Tour. It originates from South Florida and goes all across the Southeast, taking trips to the University of Florida, Georgia, Georgia Tech, Florida State, UCF, and even the University of Alabama. Make your plans today. Nominate yourself by going to footballhotbed.com for the March 22nd through the 26th trip. And we're looking for the very best of high school football prospects to join us. False start here by Monarch as this thing begins to unravel a little bit. Monarch going in the opposite direction. They did this in the first half. As the bands become alive again after their third quarter break. Spader in the shotgun. Finding nothing. Pocket collapsing. It's going to bring up 3rd and long for the Knights. St. Thomas is really beginning to key off with their defensive line. The coverage on the back end has improved. Earl Cupp, Ryan Mack, et al. And now Spader does not have the open targets that he enjoyed in the first half. Drops back to pass again. They're looking, he's scrambling out. And he is on the run and immediately hits the turf before Nicholas Rodriguez comes in and lays a hit. Several flags on the play. We are approaching 50, I believe. Penalties. .323 left in this third quarter of play. St. Thomas Aquinas 16-point lead, up 28-12. Flag on a 3rd and long play. Quarterback Jack Spader, the freshman, flushed out. And there are going to be a few infractions on the play. Referee Nick Montanez and his crew have been very busy. Wonderful night for football here in South Florida. An excellent crowd on the home and the visiting sides. Monarch just up the road about 5 to 10 minutes. Brought quite a bit of fanfare out for this big contest between two one-loss teams, one nationally rated teams. There's a fair amount of media, 247, WSVN, Channel 7, Fox, Footballville, and many others who are here covering. I even see the Crib, South Florida. My good friend Frank Tucker. There are 3 flags on that 3rd down and long play. So they are trying to sort this out. They're starting to figure this out here. There are going to be penalties on both sides. First penalty is going to be against Monarch. After the play, it's going to be an unsportsmanlike call against St. Thomas Aquinas. Go in on the left. Looks like Monarch is going to keep the ball. So quite a few penalties. I don't know if I've ever seen that many. It remains to be seen what down it is. Coach Calvin Davis is making some recommendations. The referees are still discussing it. 332 rather, left in the third quarter. And these calls are still being discussed. Got to figure out what the down is. Got to figure out the distance, and Coach Davis is going to want an explanation. Coach Davis looks like he's still not buying the explanation, and he's asking a ton of questions. I want to welcome in my good friend Frank Tucker, the Crib, South Florida. He was down there on the field.
I was. It was a frustrating time for Monarch in this game, and there was at halftime. It looked like it was going to be a little bit of a better contest for Monarch, but things have gotten a little out of hand. They did have a pretty good stop on that last drive, and this is an explosive offense that features several Division I prospects like Jabari Brady and Samari Reed, as well as Bright Cannon, who's one of the more underrated prospects in Broward County this year. So there's still potential for this game to get real interesting as we get into the fourth quarter. Yeah, potential indeed, and all being done by a freshman quarterback in Jack Spader, who's a pretty solid prospect at 6'2", but he is playing a little bit to that freshman status as he drops a dime there. Unfortunately, St. Thomas Aquinas was over the top. The interception by Max, one of the more unheralded safeties on the team. You would think that would be more of a Justice Fitzpatrick type spot, but
watch this. What do you see, Frank?
We're saying they're playing cover two. Both safeties playing as deep as possible because there's a lot of vertical concepts in this Calvin Davis offense, and one of their more quieter prospects on their defense makes a huge play in this game after Monarch was trying to fight back with momentum after getting a nice stop as they were kind of pressing to make this a 35-12 contest.
Yeah, Maximus Mustel, the junior, 6 foot, 175 defensive back, with a very important stop there for Aquinas. That's what was going on with Monarch, as Aquinas hands off here to James Montgomery, and you're not going to stop that train.
Yeah, Montgomery, a legacy for St. Thomas Aquinas. His dad was a big-time player here. This rushing attack by the Raiders is probably the best in the area. They're always going two back. You got Jordan Lyle back there, who's dominated pretty much every game this season. Let's see if Chance Robinson can make a play. He's had a few drops in this one. Team's a little frustrated with the lack of touches in this game, but if he can make a big play here, it could make this one out of reach.
Yeah, and he had a play in the end zone that he probably wishes he had back.
Yeah, you think, right?
you have a scenario here where West Carroll, Frank, as they hand off here to Lyle again, and he's just chopping it up. It just seems elementary at this point. He's going to score. Wes Carroll did what few OCs are willing to do at times and just said, hey, if we can't come out, as we watch the replay, if we can't come out and throw on these guys, we got all these receivers who want the ball, but we're just going to run the ball with the best player on the field.
Yeah, you're getting some drops from an elite receiving core and a little bit of frustration from that group. You just give it to Jordan Lyle on a sweep type play, and he's going to make people miss. He's going to break some tackles. The speed is what I love about Lyle. We've seen that kind of jump up over the last couple of seasons.
Yeah.
And overall, I think that he has the potential to be the best player, skill position-wise, to come out of South Florida.
How is he getting out of South Florida? You cover for Canes County, Rivals.com, the University of Miami, as I do, and I just don't understand how you allow that to happen.
Yeah,
I mean, and let me just, and I hate to make this about the U, but you've got two guys that are just like Jeremiah Smith, you got a Jordan Lyle, and it's tough to lose. You did get a Josiah Trader, who's sort of a unicorn, but it's tough to lose when you offensively need a guy to be a guy. When Xavier Estrepo is your go-to guy on offense, and you're building the Brandon Ennises, the Jordan Lyles, the Jeremiah Smiths, and you're churning these guys out year in, how frustrating is it, for, a recruiting staff that's trying to build with elite talent?
Yeah, I think from a local lens, it's definitely frustrating. But if you look at what Mario Cristobal is trying to do, he's trying to get the top guys from the area, and you might not get everyone. You're going to get an Ohio State and a Georgia to come in here and grab some of the best guys in the area. But listen, they got a Kevin Riley, who they considered to be an Alvin Kamara type player. He was the #1 running back on the board in this 2024 class. And then you have a Chris Wheatley-Humphrey, who has a versatility.
I really like him.
Yeah, love him. They call him Hellcat for a reason. The speed is apparent every time he touches the football. And he's a guy that could play on the defensive side of the ball as well. So you're basically getting two recruits in one. So they do have two backs in the class that I think are exceptional players.
Yeah, the Texas kid is legit.
He's actually from Alabama. They stole the #1 back out of Alabama with the potential to do that 2 years in a row.
I'm sorry, Alabama.
With Alvin Henderson in the next class as well. And they actually have a pretty good relationship. So I would watch for that if you're a Canes fan. But, overall, Miami is still pushing for Jordan Lyle. He's been in multiple games this year so far.
He has.
Yeah.
I've seen him in the bowels of the stadium.
Yeah,
so he's at least listening, and that's
He's listening. He's listening, and I think things are turning up with Shannon Dawson and Tim Harris as they're starting to recruit Jordan Lyle. Miami slow played Jordan Lyle for a long time, right? When Ohio State and Georgia,
they jump right in.
They jump right in, and you know how sometimes things go with St. Thomas Aquinas and the University of Miami. They don't always grab the best guys there. Now, I think that they've done an excellent job in this cycle. You grab Chance Robinson, you grab O.J. Frederick, you grab Ryan.
They grabbed Chance. Let's talk about that. They grabbed Chance before Chance really showed he was toward the elite level. I think that's fair to say in this, South Florida receiver class, because this is a deep receiving core this year.
Yeah, they definitely jumped on him earlier than the powers at B did. Ohio State's really trying to get back into the race there. I think that they're feeling the heat a little bit with Jeremiah Smith and their relationship in that Purple Machine group starting to come to Miami. But overall, Miami did an excellent job of getting him in the boat in the spring. And that was one of the, if you look at the last two classes for Miami, there's been an exact point that you look at where the momentum began. And in this class, it began with Chance Robinson. He's the guy who kicked things off blue chip wise in this class, and it's kind of rolled since then. Now they have a top 10 class in 2024. They have another top 10 class projected out in 2025 with 3 early commits, which is something that we haven't seen at Miami for a little bit. It used to be Miami was getting those early commits and then losing them. It seems to, with the Waden Charles and the Luke Nichols and Armando Blunts, that they're doing a good job of getting ahead, but not too far ahead of themselves.
Want to get ahead, and you want to get ahead with elite talent. Armando Blunt taking a visit to Florida State this week.
That could get interesting, especially if they get an LJ McCray. You know how that NIL budget sometimes gets a little interesting, right? So, we could see.
Who's OJ?
LJ McCray is Daytona Mainland.
Daytona Mainland. His father's actually a good friend of mine,
Yes.
Lowell McCray, longtime Bethune-Cookman coach.
Yeah, and a Broward County native, a guy who coached at Ely and a couple of other schools. Boyd Anderson, I believe, was the other spot for him. But he's one of the best players in the country regardless of position, a borderline top 50 prospect. And
Yeah, he's real long and real athletic.
Yeah. And if you talk to college coaches, college football is becoming closer to the NFL more than people think. There's a salary cap when you are recruiting these players. So
can't take everybody.
Yeah, so if LJ McCray ends up committing this Saturday, you have 6 defensive linemen committed into this class, right? Armando Blunt, there is rumors that he could reclassify into that 2024 class. Are you going to bring in 7? Is there a budget for a 7th guy on that defensive line? Because we know that they brought in 5 on the offensive line the year prior, but you don't necessarily know what things are going to look like
and
in
that's
the class.
thing with this NIL. This is sort of the new game, as we got 35-12 here. St. Thomas Aquinas leading with 1:30 left. You got to have a budget, Frank, to be able to get all of these 4- and 5-star recruits. And sometimes money does run out. It's not infinite, even in a place like Miami.
Yeah, and I think their collective has done, the Canes connection has done an excellent job, especially with the transition from John Ruiz, who, you know, there was positives and there was negatives with that situation. But overall, Miami is one of the standard schools when it comes to NIL. Look at this is an example of what Monarch can do. And listen, I don't think this is a bad performance by Monarch in any way, shape,
No, it's a building block performance. And let's be honest, Monarch has to be credited because typically they would not take games like this. They don't have to play this game. These two teams are in 2 completely different districts, regions. They're not in the same classification. Monarch is 4M, St. Thomas is 3M, and for years, you know, Monarch kind of hung out the Coral Glades, the, you know, Cypress Bays,
Pipers of the world,
the Pipers, the Travellas, the Coral Springs. Like, now they're trying to get their feet wet. They play a very tough Georgia team, come out with a big victory. They get sniped a little bit against Coconut Creek, but that's a great Creek team. You know what I mean?
That's a Creek team who's going to threaten the St. Thomas team in the playoffs.
This St. Thomas team needs to run the ball like they did tonight. And there's your boy, Bright Cannon. He's electric. Is he? Where do you see him, at the FCS level?
I see him at the FCS level. He was actually at Douglas the year prior, and him and his brother were the top 2 players on that team. They ran more wing tee concepts instead of more spread type stuff that they were doing prior.
Yeah.
And they utilized them as wing backs and halfbacks type players rather than the typical receiver that he should have been, like he is this year at Monarch. But he'll be playing in my Dade vs. Broward game at the end of the year. I think he's a guy that, especially when that February signing day comes along, he'll
get a second look.
He'll get some second looks. And
especially, I didn't know he was that fast. He played on our football hotbed, Reign 7-on-7 team, made a lot of plays for us. So we definitely appreciate the kind of athlete he is. And so as this game winds to the 4th quarter, Frank, St. Thomas Aquinas 35-12. They've taken over this game. We thought they would win. We didn't know at what point how close this game would be, but you know, Roger Harriet and that coaching staff are just so polished. What Montanez and Coach Davis are building here at Monarch is very special, but they're going to have to replace a lot of pieces if they don't get it done this year. Let's first talk about Monarch and their state championship aspirations. They got to go through a team you're very familiar with in Western, but they get a chance to go north in this bracket, and that may serve them well.
Yeah, because they play Palm Beach Central in that regional final, most likely. And Palm Beach Central is actually losing to Palm Beach Gardens 23-14.
Palm Beach Central is a very schizophrenic team, and not to be insensitive to mental health, but they are all over the place. I've seen them struggle to beat Boca, and they were trailing 17-0 against Benjamin a few weeks ago and had to come back furiously. So they're definitely beatable. This team has to figure out their identity now that Harrison's gone. What do they need to do with this young quarterback and this great receiving core and this talented O-line?
I think they got to get Spader acclimated to the offense. Obviously, he hasn't been here that long.
Yeah.
It's been a transition for him from a Miami American to coming back home to Coconut Creek. But he's got the arm talent to make pretty much every throw on the field.
Made a good throw here.
Yeah, he has yet another receiver that is not here today. Got injured early in the game, Low Ray.
Looks like those 2 young men ran into each other's heads. They're going to need some attention. But go ahead.
But they have the offensive firepower to pretty much keep up with anybody scoring.
And I don't know, were you here during the first quarter when he made that throw to Brady?
It was like a 60-yard.
I think the thing I'm surprised about is not protecting him once St. Thomas's D-line started to get going and throwing some quick passes. keep him upright.
I think he can help that, though, right? I mean, when you have command of the offense, you're able to kind of point things out,
right.
Identify mics, right? Find out where the pressure's coming from. Those exotic blitzes that St. Thomas brings to the table, he's going to be able to see those as he continues to grow into the passer that he's going to be. Now, there is potential for A.J. Harrison to come back into the playoffs, which I think is going to be huge for Monarch as they get things going in that first and second round of the playoffs, which will probably be easier matchups for them comparative to what the road will be for Columbus, Western, Palmetto, South Dade, teams like that.
So now they're going to get healthy, and they're going to get healthy at the right time. They're going to have favorable matchups, and they're probably going to clean some things up as a result of this game, because what sometimes happens, you can't get people to focus in practice because you're blowing people out, and then you play somebody who looks just like you or potentially better than you, and you got to tighten up, as you've seen them do in this game. And that's a great play by a freshman quarterback to stick in the pocket and deliver a dime and continue to get his team moving forward. But like you said, I like your comment about moving forward and getting more command of this offense. Let's flip the field. Let's get you to talk about St. Thomas Aquinas and 3M. This is the first time. I'm not saying they're going to get upset. I'm not saying they're not going to win state. I'm not going to commit blasphemy here in South Florida. But this is the one year where there are some contenders that can make this interesting. And I'm going to start with a team that plays in this stadium, Coconut Creek.
Yeah, Coconut Creek is one of the best teams in South Florida, regardless of classification. They've kind of risen up the ranks into, threatening to be a top 5 team. I mean, they held Chaminade to a low-scoring total, made it an 8-point game at the end of that one, had a chance to almost tie it up at the end as well. And if you look at how ferocious their front seven is, they have, Division I kids throughout the group. One of their best defensive linemen just got an offer to Iowa State. One of their corners just got an offer to Oregon State.
At Coconut Creek?
Yes.
Talking about Montero?
No, not Montero. I'm sorry, I'm drawing a blank.
What number? 0? 45.
Namari. It was a Namari.
I'll show you the list here.
Number four.
Okay, he's a junior.
Brantley.
He's a junior.
Namari Brantley, one of the best defensive linemen in South Florida this year. He just picked up Iowa State, his first Division I offer, which is massive. Yes, Namari Brantley, massive, right? That was huge for him in recruiting. But if you look at what they've done all year long, we're able to knock off Western. They were able to put a running clock on this Monarch team that was threatening St. Thomas at halftime. They're a very good team, and James Hayes has kind of given them some life on offense as well at the quarterback position. But St. Thomas...
Hayes got offered by Alabama State today, as well as Jamari Horseclaw, the running back. They're probably going to end up at the HBCU with a lot of, Power 5-like facilities. What has Coach Johnny Sloan and Coach Jurgen and all those guys done here at Coconut Creek?
They've built a brand. They've made Coconut Creek a place that kids want to play at and want to stay at. Because before...
They don't lose guys.
They don't lose guys. They have 30 seniors on their team right now. That is an astounding number in South Florida because we see so much movement, right? If you don't see them at St. Thomas or Chaminade or American Heritage, you don't see a heavy senior group like that unless they're transferring in. And that group has been a core group that has stayed together through the process, through the struggles. If you look at their schedule last year, they were able to knock off several teams that beat them last season, including Ely and Plantation, where they dismantled those two teams. So I love Coconut Creek heading into the playoffs. They have a ton of momentum. They're going to keep winning. They're going to finish out probably 8-2, and I think that they're really a dark horse in that 3M classification.
Yeah.
Now, if you look at St. Thomas, where are their strengths? Their strengths are at that running back position, running the football, allowing Andrew Indorf, who's a younger quarterback, experience-wise, to kind of game manage things. But then on defense, listen, that linebacker core is as good as anybody's, right? You got Joseph Ramjas, who most people don't know about, who came over from South Broward. He's already had a 100-tackle season under his belt. Nick Rodriguez is in the conversation for best defensive player in South Florida, regardless of position on the defensive side of the ball. You got Ryan Mack. You got O.J. Frederick. You got Alan Bryant, a Pittsburgh commit. You have, Earl Cole Volpe, who's a Purdue commit. We saw the Max kid pick off a pass. There's so much talent on this St. Thomas defense where it's going to be tough for anybody to score, and we're seeing that with Monarch today because they have a number of really good players, including Jabari Brady, who's probably going to end up a 5-star, and they just have 12 points on the board. So overall, listen, this is still a dominant St. Thomas defense. We know what they're able to do on special teams. Their punter is going to Texas. We never see something of that magnitude.
Yeah, Michael Curran, he's one of the best in the country.
So overall, it's a St. Thomas throwback type team. Maybe not as explosive on offense as we've seen in the past with guys like Zion Turner leading the charge, but they're still a team to beat in that 3M classification.
So we got a first down here, Monarch driving. Spader back into the game, makes a really good pass.
Yeah.
In all kinds of traffic.
We got backups in for
Well, you
St.
got
Thomas.
backups in and they're playing zone, but you still have to be a dude to make a throw like that in the 4-man coverage.
Yeah, listen, we know what Monarch can do on offense. We've talked about that time and time again since I've gotten on here. And listen, this is the point of the game where you just kind of want to find building blocks to kind of go forward with, like we just said. And listen, if they can make this a 35-20 type game, you look at that as one of the best performances of the year for Monarch because they're playing competition.
Of several years, really.
Because before, Calvin Davis just returned, a couple of years ago, and we know what he's done at places like Deerfield and Monarch before when he had Calvin Ridley. The wide receiver tree under him is maybe the best.
Did I say that right earlier? I know you weren't listening, but Judy was here at Monarch before going over to Deerfield.
He was. He played more corner than he did receiver, but he was at Monarch as a young player. I think he did 2 years at Deerfield. So they had Calvin Ridley, they had Calvin Ridley. Xavier Estrepo was there at one point.
He's a freshman and sophomore years. He developed in this program before going to St. Thomas Aquinas. Of course, he ended up at Deerfield in order to go out of school early. Let's talk about that. NIL makes kids want to leave school early. Schools like St. Thomas Aquinas are at a disadvantage because they don't let you out early. You got to go all 4.
Yeah, now you're starting to see schools like Chaminade Madonna start to let guys out early. They had a pretty good, class that ended up leaving in December last year. So that's given them an advantage in the private school race. And I think that you're going to start to see the Archdiocese start to have conversations.
The Archdiocese of Miami, if you're listening, you are going to lose people, especially these elite athletes, if you don't let them out. And this is why they have to be let out early. They've got to go to earn the NIL money that is changing their families' lives. So when you talk about the St. Thomas Aquinas, you're talking about the Cardinal Gibbons, even American Heritage, that has nothing to do with the diocese. And let's talk about it. As a private school owner, I can say you don't let people out early because it's about tuition. There are financial implications of cutting off tuition in the middle of the year. You don't budget for that. You don't budget to have 10 to 12 kids leave in the middle of the year. You're thinking about teachers, lunch, security, you're thinking about, all of these fees that you have to pay, and it doesn't work when you're pulling people out of the school. But what they need to be doing is pulling people out and grabbing people to come in.
Yeah, and I also think you have to look at it from outside the business lens, which is an important aspect of running a school. It is a business at the end of the day. But you also have to look at how much is that football team bringing to your school, right? I'm sure that there are more
the
kids
guys
that
earn the right.
Yeah. And not even just that, like how many students are actually going to St. Thomas Aquinas because of the name that it's built through the football team, right? I mean, there is the aspect of that. I mean, look at Miami-Dade, right? We see enrollment dropping at certain schools when the football team is
enrollment is dropping all over the place where you've got schools that are under-enrolled. That's why kids can go to various places with school choice. Because they're playing. Nobody's checking in to Parkland Douglas. Nobody's checking in to Cypress Bay. That's a tough thing to do if you're not a magnet student or you don't move into the area because there are no open seats.
Yeah, Western, any of those schools in that 4M classification, you got some big boys. You got some big enrollment numbers at those schools. But when you look at those St. Thomas Aquinas, you look at the Cardinal Gibbons, you look at the schools that are part of that Archdiocese, umbrella, they have to look at things of what's best for the child, right? Because we do want to.
You gotta let these kids are going to be millionaires, like you.
And not even just that, right? We see kids from around the country coming in early. You're putting your child at a disadvantage by not allowing him to come in January. You miss 6 months of learning the playbook. You miss 6 months of development in a college weight training program, and you miss 6 months of advancement in the educational aspect of their growth, because you get 6 months of college classes.
Because now you can work your way into getting a master's and a bachelor's. If there's a red shirt or something like that, you give yourself all kinds of options. Timeout on the field. 7:42 remaining in this fourth quarter. A little bit of confusion taking place. This has just been a wild game.
Yeah, it's been an ugly second half. But I do think that there are a number of things where I saw from Monarch today that I love.
There are a lot of building blocks.
There's a lot of things.
Let's address one other piece before I let this NIL conversation go. NIL was just approved in high school in Georgia. It's probably coming to Florida. You're a forward-thinking guy. Give us a preview of how that would look.
I think it's going to be interesting. I think you're going to have to have some tough conversations at each high school, right? Coaches are going to have to be mentors, because there are going to be people that are going to be trying to hang around these kids that are now 15 to 18 years old and having a chance to make money, rather than just being a college athlete who has that oversight from a university that knows how to handle agents and knows how to handle those aspects of things.
Are coaches going to have to start extending their way into the all-star 7-on-7 circuit? Because their kids are going to be dealing with, I like to say that 7-on-7 allows kids to be closer because they spend more time together. You don't spend very much time with guys you even go to school with. Now, some of the times you don't even go to school with guys. You go to a private school that doesn't have football, you show up for practice. 7-on-7, you're with these guys overnight, you're eating dinner with them, you're in the same room sleeping, you're roommating, all kinds of things. It's a much closer, tight-knit environment. You've been on that circuit. What's your viewpoint from that perspective?
Listen, I think that you're starting to see those coaches kind of dip into that pool already. I mean, Aaron Strumsky is a guy I know very well, and he's at Shaman Amadana, and he's been able to keep a close eye on his kids and been able to help mentor his kids in a way that a lot of other coaches haven't, and that's why he's so impactful in South Florida at such a young age. He's a guy who's still in his early 30s, and he's already kind of achieved a lot more than a lot of guys that are 20 years older than him in this high school world. So, I think you're going to see, SFE has a St. Thomas connection, American Heritage connection, right? So you have DEF CON, who has CHOP at Western, right? You have, obviously the Chaminade connection.
I can't believe,
Yeah, so,
most of the top players play
most of the top schools, honestly, if you look at it, there is some sort of connection to the 7-on-7 circuit. Do I think that there are going to be more coaches that dip into it a little bit more? Absolutely.
Because of the connection that the 7-on-7 owners and the coaches can have with the universities.
Yeah, and now with the NIL getting passed around the country in Georgia and places like that, you're going to see a lot of these 7-on-7 teams that do have coaches that maybe coach at Grayson or maybe coach at a place in Missouri say, hey, you want to make some money right now? Come transfer out of state and let's make something happen. So that is something to watch.
I think South Florida kids are potentially going to be lured away if there are not some significant movements made in the Florida NIL.
I think in November that it might pass, though. From what I've been told by some people close to the situation, I'm hearing that November, December is a time frame for that to be passed. I know that they're writing up the bill. Obviously, legality of that, I am not an expert in that in any way, shape, or form. But listen, I think that Florida sees the writing on the walls. The governor has been, pretty forward-thinking in regards to allowing, the college athletes take advantage of the NIL very early on in that process. And now you're starting to see them start to dip into high school because that is becoming an issue as well. And we got to stop limiting these athletes to just being students, because their name, image, and likeness based on social media, based on their ability to gain endorsements is
how many
different.
times has Jeremiah Smith's photo been used by Max Preps?
Absolutely. 24/7, rivals.
That all stops.
Yeah, absolutely. And interviews become a little bit more challenging as well, right? Exclusive access to these kids. They're going to want, they're going to want to have, those conversations about, making sure that they're taken care of, right? And
this is cool here. Monarch is putting some young guys in. Got to get these guys some experience, and you got to allow them to be able to eat, so to speak. Montgomery looks like he's going to take full advantage here. It's a good tackle.
Got a running clock maybe coming soon if they strike here and then get another one. So we will.
Well,
probably
Roger Harriet's a gentleman. He's not going to put the ball in the air. His senior quarterback is pretty content. Wes Carroll has found the formula to win this game. What does Miami need to do to win the game tomorrow against Clemson?
Ooh, well, listen, the rumors are TVD might be out of that.
I heard that. I was going to ask you about that.
Let's see what Emory Williams has, right?
Why isn't Ja'Cory Brown? I don't get it.
Well, listen, Emory has been a guy that he looks like he has potential to lead this program over the next 4 years after Tyler Van Dyke leaves.
So no dipping into the portal for a quarterback.
They could. I think that competition breeds success, right? And Mario Cristobal knows what that quarterback position, he knows how important it is, right? He's had guys like Justin Herbert, and he knows that you have to dip in. He went and got Anthony Brown was his last quarterback at Oregon. So overall, man, it's going to be one of those things where we're going to see what happens at the quarterback position. But listen, could Emory Williams have that Ken Dorsey type effect where he's just a game manager leading the charge, scanning the field?
You don't have to do much. I mean, I think when you come back next year, if you bring a Colby Young back, if he has eligibility, I'm not sure.
He does, yes.
If you bring a Colby Young back, if you have a Bashard Smith, who probably has a COVID year, if you bring back an Isaiah Horton played on this field in my middle school All-American game as an 8th grader coming down from Nashville. We've always known he's talented. You got to find a go-to guy. It's probably going to be Jacoby George if he doesn't leave, because he's having a nice season.
Or is it Jeremiah Smith?
Is it Jeremiah Smith? You talk about NIL, you're going to have to open up the pockets.
Some kids are just worth it, though. And listen, I think that
he is.
I think that there's going to be some guys.
I have talked openly about the fact that I think Jeremiah Smith, there are 2 kids that I think are generational talents that you may never see again anytime soon. So like Lamar Jackson, we watched play. I watched Lamar as early as a 7th grader when he was playing for Pompano Cowboys, and then he went to go play for Northwest Broward Raiders. So Lamar, we haven't seen anybody since him. I think Calvin Russell, CJ, at Northwestern, when he plays quarterback, has generational vibes. I get generational vibes out of him.
Absolutely.
He's somebody who could be special.
He could be, for sure.
He just does not commit.
I love him at receiver.
No, I don't think he catches the ball in traffic as aggressively as you need to for a guy his size. I think he's a very good receiver. I think he's an elite generational quarterback. Just because he has so many raw talent and tools, and he has an it factor. You don't take Columbus in a state championship year to the final play as a true freshman if you don't have talent.
Yeah, and listen, rumors are Teddy Bridgewater could be back in the fold at Northwestern next season. That development that he could bring to the table as an NFL
if they lock
guy.
in, if those 2 guys lock in this offseason, the Northwestern Bulls are so young, so talented, that they can keep everything, because they're having some struggles. Although they beat Coral Gables. I don't know if they'll sneak into the 2M playoffs. That's way too much to think about with all the rankings and stuff.
Yeah, the formula is like the BCS. It's going to be hard to figure out until we're in that final week. But I think another guy that has to get talked about in that quarterback conversation for Northwestern is Leon Strauder. We've seen some potential from him at times, and 110%. Could CJ be the guy at quarterback? Yes. But if you have a group of Elijah Hardy.
Talk about a young guy here, Derek Baker is in the game.
Derek Baker. Listen, Naples
for St. Thomas Aquinas.
Naples kid played for that Carroll City
Golden Army.
Yeah, Golden Army team last year. Brought them into the national championship conversation. They lost to Lauderhill Lions, who ended up winning it all. But he is one of those kids with dual threat ability that can make some plays, and he's already got an MVP award for a game this year already. So 2027 quarterback to watch out for. It's fun that we're seeing 2 guys with 3 years to go in this game already.
Unbelievable, yeah. Baker 2027, Jack Spader 2027 for Monarch. Both over 6 feet tall, both have real good tools. Spader has shown he's got the goods tonight. He'll continue to develop and improve. You know, he comes over from American. It's a much more talented team. Steps in, no off season. Can you imagine what he's going to be like?
Nice throw.
You just see the kind of throw he can make, and that's going to happen for the next 2 years here.
Yeah.
And I don't think Brady's going to go anywhere because he's got every offer in the country, and he's almost a 5-star kid, and why would you?
And Calvin Davis that we spoke about, he's proven that he can develop receivers at the highest of levels.
And I think he wants to be the next guy here.
Yeah.
It's kind of a rite of passage to be the top dog for Monarch. 3:31 to play. Thank my good friend Frank Tucker from the Crib South Florida Rivals.com for joining me. I knew this one was getting out of hand, so it needed somebody to banter with, and we've had some great conversation. What's been the biggest surprise for you in South Florida football this year, Frank?
Norland and Coconut Creek. I think that those are the two topics of conversation. Norland being undefeated up to this point, knocking off Leyland.
Are they winning? Are they beating Columbus?
They are. No Mendoza tonight, so it's hard to kind of get a scope of what that game really could have been. But the last time I saw the score, it was 9-0. And listen, Columbus is always going to coach it up and keep things close. But when you got Jeff Bandy playing quarterback, who's a cornerback, it's going to make things tough to win that one. So just Norland being 7-0, being the number one team in that classification, which is loaded with teams like American Heritage, Central, Cardinal Gibbons, Miami Northwestern, Edison. It's just, I mean, it's a loaded classification.
Are you surprised at the down year Central is having? I mean, it's hard to say they're down.
I wouldn't say down. I mean, you got 3 losses. You know, the most is by 4 points to Bishop Gorman. You were in a position to win all 3 of those games. They could easily be 6-0 up. I mean,
down by
7-0
Central
now.
standards, I'd say.
Yeah. So listen. I think they got some things to figure out. They are a scary team heading into the playoffs. So you still got a 4-headed monster at running back. Lawayne McCoy hasn't heated up just yet. Khalil Sterling has become a dude. Overall, listen. I love Central and what they bring to the table still. Coach Jude Joseph is one of the best head coaches in South Florida still. It's still a team to beat, but Norland is the favorite right now. You can't take anything away from them and what they've done. I think that they have the best quarterback in Dade County and in the conversation for South Florida and Enyo Poor. 10,000 yards, 100 career touchdowns already. He is going to break the Dade County passing record.
It's been broken every year. And that Dade County passing record is once again up for grabs. Keon Jenkins, who's having a great year at FIU, he's won 4.
Yeah, let's see how long that lasts.
3-4 games.
So
I don't think he's gonna leave in the portal. We just
spoke about NIL, right? We just spoke about NIL, and I think that there were some conversations from some Power 5 schools.
I'll be honest with you. If I'm Mario, I say, hey man, we messed up.
Yeah.
We'll take that on the chin.
Yeah, I think
why wouldn't you?
I think Lights Out has a skill set as a winner. Intangibles you can't
Intangibles, and that's one of the things, and that's why I'm concerned about TVD and Emory coming from smaller programs, not under the lights like you are here. That's a very good play call for a touchdown for Monarch.
And they're going to make it 35-20 before this one's over, hopefully. And hey, this is a win for Monarch, despite it not being a win. So
they've been good the last several years. What Davis, Montanez, Swain, who's kind of taking a back seat, but he's still around. You know, I mean, look at how many coaches they have. They really are coaching this with 4 guys. You know, they are putting a very good effort forward, but it's hard to match the discipline, structure, and accountability that you get with a St. Thomas Aquinas Raider program. There are just certain things that you can't do over there because there's 2 guys ready to take your place, and that makes a difference.
And 5 a.m. practices, and
there'll be a practice at 9 a.m. tomorrow morning. Yeah. What time is practice, Coach, tomorrow? Tomorrow practice, 9:30. Our coaches.
And you can hold people accountable in a way that you can't at public school.
Trust me, there's a lot of flags that to be held accountable. St. Thomas is winning this game big, but they're gonna have some things to discuss tomorrow at 9:30.
Yeah, but public school wise, Monarch is up there with the best of them.
It's up there with Western.
They are building in a big way.
What's wrong with Broward County football? This is an open platform. I don't want you to say anything that's going to get you in trouble. I don't care. I think Broward County, the administration in Broward County is purposely making it difficult for Broward County football in the public school sector to be relevant. When you've got a Chaminade, used to be U School, American Heritage, St. Thomas Aquinas, Cardinal Gibbons, you have got to put as much resource in your football programs. You have got to make every effort, not bringing guys into the building at Coral Springs and Travella. Some of the things that I've heard and seen, ticky-tack firings. This is how Palm Beach became a dumpster fire.
Yeah.
You want to go that road.
I think that listen, academically in the state of Florida, you know as well as I do that there are some struggles for everybody in every county.
Sure.
I want to look at the flip side more positively, right? You look at the Broward versus the USA showcase that the BCAA helps put on. I think they're trying to do things like that.
Excellent.
Yeah, so I think that they're trying to do things to help catapult what is Broward County public school football into a level that it wasn't before.
It's the administration. I'm not concerned about.
Yeah.
BCAA is awesome. If it weren't for the BCAA, I mean, Broward County football would be in big trouble.
The thing is, not everybody can be a football school. Not everybody can be a football school.
Forget being a football school. Put the head coach on staff in the school doing something. End of discussion.
Yeah.
Stranahan's been guilty of it. Coral Springs has been guilty of it. Other people, I'm talking to a coach, I'm like, Coach, you're not at the building?
Yeah.
How can you recruit?
Yeah.
How can you, recruit guys in your own building?
I do think that it's maybe a two-way street though as well. The coaches have to be prepared to be in the building.
Yeah, gotta have the teaching certificate.
Yeah, educational-wise, you do have to be ready to go, right? You have to be certified in a certain way that not everybody is, right? So I have had conversations with administrators about potential jobs, and they've been willing to work with it, So, just from personal experience, I've seen positive growth from a lot of these programs, and I think that there are a lot of schools that definitely want to win. You're starting to see some guys like Hollis at Western get into positions where they're athletic directors, and I think that they're starting to make an influence, right? Like Brandon Wesley at Coral Springs. I feel like he's been making more of an impact at Coral Springs. Look at Coral Springs is going to go 6-4 this year.
Yeah,
right?
No, they're doing really well. They go and grab Coach Eddie Brown, Rabbit, from Boyd Anderson, where he was not supported. Coral Springs has been the laughingstock of Broward County Northwest football, and now all of a sudden they've got coaches, they've got kids. They always had talent. They just couldn't muster enough of it to be competitive against the kind of teams that they have to play. Coral Glades is not terrible.
No,
you got Rocco Casulio over there.
Yeah,
he's always going to try hard. Cypress Bay's having a decent season. I think Boyd
Anderson actually got the right guy in there. They got a community guy.
He needs time.
Yeah, he needs time. He's a former Division I football player, right?
Listen, that Lauderdale Lakes program right across the street from him, if he can just figure out how to... I would go to TMT. That's the 13U program at Lauderdale Lakes. Boyd Anderson is in Lauderdale Lakes as we get a nice pass here to Jenkins.
No, Julius Jones. Baby Julius Jones. Julius Jones, whose father played for the Dallas Cowboys as a running back. He's a 2027 prospect that's getting a lot of playing time this year. And he's a guy that I think everybody needs to be watching. There are a number of 2027 prospects.
27 is
St. Thomas,
loaded.
But typically at St. Thomas, we don't see freshmen playing at the level that they are.
They got all the Golden Army kids.
They got all the Golden Army kids. They got the Amari Stevens kid. Like, listen, if you look at the roster, you see a lot of freshmen, FR, next to the names of kids at St. Thomas Aquinas. And I think that St. Thomas deserves a lot of credit for how they've been able to grow the program from old school JV, freshman team type stuff to putting guys in position to be a star early on in the process. And I think that the process of St. Thomas has changed.
Let's walk down here to the field. We've got wireless mics and we get a chance to be able to interview some of the guys. Excuse us. So, as this game goes to an end, you talked about it. We have really, really good development out of Roger Harriet and his team. He's been a guy that knows how to develop talent over the course of time. And, at the end of the day, he's got a great and talented freshman class. He's going to give them the last half of the fourth quarter to be able to showcase their talents. And that's a luxury that a lot of people do not have.
Yeah, and it hasn't just been the
July 2026. So overall, a lot of youth, and it's only going to get better and better for South Florida over the next 2 to 3 years.
Yeah, it's only going to get better. St. Thomas Aquinas is going to win this game 35-19. Want to thank my good friend Frank Tucker for joining me on footballhotbed.com. This is the footballhotbed.com game of the week. Frank, any final shout outs from you?
Shout out to Monarch for keeping this one close. Shout out to Roger Harriet for continuing to lead his team to another successful season, and it's always fun talking to you, brother.
Appreciate you, brother. And we're getting back close to our broadcast here, and they're lining it up, and we're gonna line it up. You're watching footballhotbed.com. Thank you for joining us. We're signing off from Coconut Creek. Frank Tucker, everyone in Hotbed World. I'm Brandon O'Doy. We'll see you next week.